Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Rob McCrae, President and CEO of the Wireless Life Sciences Alliance.
Well, thank you. I'll be here briefly right now and then back in just a few minutes. We're going to shift gears here for the next hour and 10 minutes or so and move to a really central issue in mobile and connected health, and that's the interaction of human beings as humans, not as patients necessarily, with machines and computers and knowledge that is derived from them. So first we're going to have a short talk from Dr. Harry Greenspun, and he's well positioned to do this because he is a physician. He's been chief medical officer of two very significant technology companies, and he's now a senior advisor for healthcare transformation and technology at the Deloitte Center for Health Solutions. So first, please welcome Harry Greenspun.
Well, good morning. It's kind of funny following Mike Breslow. Mike and I used to work together at Hopkins, and he always used to insist on having lights and music every time he entered or exited a room. I'm Harry Greenspun. I'm a physician. Started life as a cardiac anesthesiologist and got involved in health IT a long time ago. I'm now with the Deloitte Center for Health Solutions, where we are sort of the research arm of Deloitte, looking at a lot of healthcare issues. I put out, I think I even have it here. Let me see. I put out a paper the other day. Let's see if that's the right thing. Yeah, there it is. Talking about consumerism and mobile, which is available on our website. Let's find the actual thing here. There you go. Info brief that we did to help people understand broad context. But we've had such great speakers here on so many different topics. I want to focus on three very specific areas. I want to talk about innovation. I want to talk about quality, consumers' perception of quality. And the last thing I want to talk about is privacy and security, because we've been dancing around this for the last couple of days and a lot of the speakers, and I want to sort of give a particular take on that. Let's talk about innovation first. We've got such cool stuff on our phones these days. And, you know, I'm a wired-up guy. I've got everything, right? I've got, I got a thing on my wrist here. I got a wireless heart rate monitor. I got a rectal probe. I got everything going. Sorry, no heart rate monitor. And I've got really useful tools for managing my health. We've got a Wi-Fi scale at home, which my wife programmed that if I go above a certain weight, I get a text message telling me to sleep on the couch. I've got a bike monitor for the bike computer for my bicycle will tell me what my heart rate was based upon my GPS coordinates. And I've got a lot of great, useful information about me and about my health. And then I think about, well, does my doctor care about that? Not really. And what we've had is all this great innovation related to mobile and data collection and personal, all these really great things we can do about ourselves that have lived in silos, that haven't made the jump into what I'd call kind of mainstream medicine, so that the data that we have hasn't made the leap from the stuff on our phone that we collect about ourselves, that we share with our friends, into mainstream healthcare, so we can understand, hey, just because I have a fitness app on my phone does not make me an athlete, right? If I have a diabetes app on my phone, is that actually going to improve my hemoglobin A1C? What's really going to be effective for someone like me to really change my health, my wellness, and improve my overall quality of life? So when we think about innovation, we have to start thinking about how are we going to incorporate these great pockets of innovation into the broader scheme of healthcare. Because very often what we solve is not the hard problem. It's a small technology slice. It's how would we track this, or how would we keep track of this? And not think of how is this going to roll into something that's going to be useful in really making a dent in our health and our well-being. So when you think about what you want to do in innovation, and you look at innovative apps, think about how is this really going to make an impact? How is this really going to make a change and do something good? So the other thing I would like to talk about is really about quality. and we talk about quality care. We talk a lot of interesting things about in that realm. But when we really get down to talking about quality, we often don't appreciate what that really means to people and what quality means to caregivers, what quality means to payers and others. Who's got a good doctor? There we go, you right in front. How do you know? He listens. Who else got a good doctor? He takes you to the airport? Is it seriously? He takes video calls, right? So what you both described has nothing to do with quality. What you described as a service experience. And at the Deloitte Center for Health Solutions, we did a survey of consumers globally, and we asked them about quality. And we asked them about the quality of the care they receive, the quality of their providers, their doctors, their hospitals, and others. And everything that we got back was related to the service experience and not to quality of care, not to outcomes. No one's saying, my doctor's great because I know that I have all of my recommended preventative care. That my doctor's great because I had a knee operation and the outcome I achieved was better than what I would expect. My doctor's great because this data shows me that she is fantastic at treating the following conditions much better based on evidence. So when we ask consumers about quality, about sharing information about quality, what you get is stuff all related to service. And so when you think about the impact of mHealth, you think about social media, educating sort of the patient view, consumer view of healthcare, and you're asking questions about, is this quality care? You got to remember what you're asking, who you're asking, and with the information that's coming back. Who's familiar with health grades? Health grades, folks? Yeah? So look me up on health grades. You'll find some interesting stuff. You'll find out that I'm practicing at George Washington University. And what's fascinating about that is, A, I've never been licensed in the District of Columbia. Number two, I've never worked at GW. And it has me working with my ex-wife, and that's not happening. And when you look at the ratings of physicians on any other sort of social media site, you see the quality ratings of physicians. And we need to understand is, what are we actually rating? Because we have quality data. Who's from New York? Any New Yorkers here? The New Yorkers have awesome stuff in terms of heart surgery, for cardiacs and cardiac surgery. You guys familiar with the database you have on? You can look up an individual provider and find out risk-adjusted the quality of their care. Have you seen this? Anybody? Bueller? Yeah? Who likes Dr. Oz? Ladies? All right. You can look up Dr. Oz and look at his quality metrics as he operates in New York City and figure out whether he's, how he's doing relative to other cardiac surgeons. Now it's interesting, this data has been around a long time. Remember when Bill Clinton needed heart surgery? He went to Columbia Presbyterian Hospital. Do you know what the quality metrics of Columbia at the time were? Better or worse? Anybody? Shout it out. Worse. How much worse? A lot worse. Now, Hillary may have known that, but apologies. There was data about the quality of care, but for whatever reason, you weren't having treatment there. And we see this over and over again, where even in the existence of quality information, unless people are incentivized to actually look at this information and say, you know what, the choice I make based upon this quality data is going to either impact the amount of money I spend or what I'm going to be charged, the outcomes I'm going to get, people ignore it. The only people who actually pay attention to that kind of quality data typically are the physicians themselves. When they see that their quality scores are lower, they actually try and get better. So it's kind of a helpful thing. But that raises an odd kind of philosophical question about quality in the eyes of a consumer. Any philosophy majors in the audience? One back there. Good. I like that. You've got to know who you are. I appreciate that. So you have to ask yourself, what is quality? So my 10-year-old son, Luca, had a wart on his foot. And I could have taken him to the world-famous virologist at Hopkins, Dr. Baron von Strauten something. Or I could take him to the wart guy about 5 minutes from my house. and who had a reputation for sort of seeing people on time and getting things done quickly. And so I took him there. We had a 4:30 appointment. We were in the exam room by 4:29. We were out by 4:40, left with most of his foot intact. And I assumed the guy was a good guy. But my measure of quality, what I wanted out of that, was not the best possible care ever. I wanted something that fit in with my needs. And so when we think about the kind of evaluations, the kind of searching that people will do for care, it's not going to be just about who is the best at doing something. It's how does this fit in with what we want. We make these kind of decisions all the time. When you look at restaurants, right, you make a decision based upon the cost, the ambiance, the social media experience, all these kind of things that that are different measures of quality rather than sort of the what some might consider analysis of the objective measures of highest quality. So just something to consider. The last thing I want to touch on is privacy. And we're missing a couple things here. One thing is that privacy in healthcare is different than outside of healthcare. Who's worried about someone stealing their identity and draining their bank account? Show of hands. Right? Who's worried about someone showing up at a hospital and getting a colonoscopy in your name? Not so common. So the thing about privacy in healthcare, people are not worried about losing all of their information. They're not worried about that sort of the medical identity theft. What people are worried about, and we've surveyed consumers, is that over 50% of Americans are afraid of losing that single piece of information that's in their medical record. It's that rash they got in Vegas. It's some other thing that happened to them that they don't want to share. Because a lot of judgments happen related to that. I've told the story, so I'll share it with you. Anyone know what Thorazine is? What is it? It's an antipsychotic. So I will tell you about me. I am allergic to Thorazine. Let that marinate for a second. Okay? Thank you for your compassion up front. So I, as a physician, if I saw a patient coming in who had allergy to Thorazine, and who's allergic to something, you've seen your chart, right? It has like penicillin, something, it's like highlighted on the front. You've seen this, yes? Yeah. I'm hearing my echo, telling myself, yeah. So, easy to agree with myself. If I see Thorazine, I'm going to talk very softly. I'm not going to sneak up on you with any big needles. But I'm not going to ask a lot of questions. And doctors do this all the time. And other people do this all the time. And did anyone know what else Thorazine is used for? Hiccups, there. So I had intractable hiccups when I was in college. 4 days. Couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. I was miserable. Right? Unbelievably bad. They gave me Thorazine. I was better. But then I got a rash. Now, how do you think I feel walking up to any pharmacist, clerk, right? When I pick up a prescription and have the person go, hello. Right? I don't want that. I want some control over my information. And the other thing is we think it's so awesome. We have patients like me and e-patient Dave, good friend of mine. This data sharing is fantastic. We do some great things with this. We got to remember not to leave behind the group of patients who don't want to share this information. I mean, for every person who's walking into an infusion center for chemotherapy, checking in and getting support from all their friends, there's someone walking into the STD clinic with multi-drug resistant gonorrhea. I guarantee you that person's not checking in. Right? So we need a way to harness these tools to improve the health care of everybody. And mobile's going to be an awesome way of doing that. We just got to remember there's some different things in the way consumers interact with their phones in health care versus other parts of their lives. I've got more information in the paper I wrote, but if you have any questions, love to catch you afterward. Enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you very much.